As free agency gets underway, a brand new report has come out revealing that the Toronto Blue Jays are all in on Juan Soto and that they are going to give him the astronomical offer that he is looking for. We're going to break down that crazy report and discuss what it can mean going forward. We also have to discuss the odds for Juan Soto. They've been revealed, and where the Blue Jays land may surprise you. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content all off season long. And buckle up because it's going to be an absolutely crazy next few weeks for the Toronto Blue Jays. But let's dive right into it. Now, we all know numerous reports are coming out surrounding Juan Soto. We had a video on it yesterday regarding Jeff Passan saying that the Jays and that Juan Soto is going to be serious about joining the Blue Jays if the Jays are serious about giving him the $600 to $700 million that he wants and that he's looking for. And then, multiple other reports. We've seen reports from Bob Nightingale. We've seen reports from John Heyman saying, hey, the Jays are going to go all in. Similar to what we saw if you rewind a year with Shohei Ohtani. Now, not to bring that back up and bring back bad memories, but it kind of started with a few reports here and there, and then it started to really escalate, and the odds started to reflect it. So there's a lot to go over today, but MLB Insider confirms the Jays are about to make Juan Soto a monster offer. And MLB Insider Hector Gomez has just revealed that the Toronto Blue Jays will look to the biggest offer of free agency for Juan Soto, as they are planning to surpass any offers made by the Yankees, the Mets, or the LA Dodgers. And here's the official tweet. Source: while the Mets, Yankees, and Dodgers seem to be Juan Soto's top suitors in free agency, the Blue Jays will be going all out to offer him the contract he is seeking. If you're unfamiliar with Hector Gomez, he's a pretty reputable reporter. He's gotten a lot of things right in the past, especially for certain free agents. Now, regarding Juan Soto, it's he has some connections there with Juan Soto, so take this with a grain of salt, as we always do. But he's good a lot of the time, especially with free agents like Juan Soto. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this actually goes. And for a lot of the big free agents out there, the Blue Jays are a very intriguing destination. Now, as you look at some of the pieces here, you see this here. Soto is clearly going to be the biggest free agent on the market this offseason, as he is reportedly going after a contract worth $700 million or more, which many believe he'll be able to get. The Jays are set to be going all in on free agent Juan Soto. Many Blue Jays fans did not want to get their hopes up when it was revealed that the team would be making an offer to Soto during free agency after what happened last offseason with Shohei Ohtani. And again, take the report with a grain of salt, but when it comes to blockbuster free agents, Hector Gomez is usually pretty on the ball. So there's a lot of things to go over here. Again, it says that, well, the top suitors are the Mets, the Yankees, and the Dodgers. Those are all, suitors we expected. I don't think the Dodgers are going to make a run for him. I do suspect the Mets to make a massive run, and I think the Yankees are going to make a massive run. The Blue Jays, I also think, are going to make a massive run, and that's what the report says. The Jays will be going all out to offer him the contract he is seeking. Now, there's a couple sides to this. I know half of you out there are probably saying, wow, this is phenomenal. Obviously, if the Jays are going to go all in. And the other half, probably being a little bit pessimistic after what happened with Shohei Ohtani last season, with the plane, John Morosi, JP Hornstra, everything like that. However, it's very intriguing because it's following, again, a very similar path to the Shohei Ohtani rumors last offseason, where it started with a couple reports, and then it started to get hinted at here and there by Hector Gomez, by other guys like that. And then the Jays ultimately ended up being the finalists for Shohei, and the odds started to reflect that. But for him to come out this early in the offseason, for Hector Gomez to come out and say the Jays will be going all out, it's intriguing now because you still have the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. contract to discuss with him. You still have to lock that down. We know that him and Juan Soto, Vladdy that is, have a great relationship, and that maybe that could factor in. If Juan Soto wants to come, he's already won a World Series with the Washington Nationals. He just lost, obviously in a brutal fashion in Game 5 against the Dodgers. But if they want to go out and Juan Soto wants to say, hey, if you guys pay me the most money, the Toronto Blue Jays that is, I'll join you guys. I'll join your fairly young team. You have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Maybe that intrigues Bichette to stay. Like, it has such a ripple effect. It has a butterfly effect in the sense of, if Hector Gomez is right and the Jays offer him this huge deal, and then Blue Jays somehow get Juan Soto, not Shohei Ohtani, if they get Juan Soto, it would be phenomenal. Yeah, it brings back flashbacks to the Shohei Ohtani situation. But if the Jays actually, I think it's a bit different in the sense of Ross Atkins now is on the hot seat. He needs to make a move. Mark Shapiro, they need to make moves. They need to sell tickets. They just spent hundreds of millions of dollars, $500 million plus on the Rogers Center renovations. They need to actually get the money, and they need to get things, they need to get fans into the stadium. And Juan Soto would certainly do that. Yeah, he doesn't bring the exact same presence that Shohei Ohtani does globally. He probably doesn't bring in the same amount of ticket sales, but he probably brings in very similar amount of actual ticket sales, because Juan Soto is one of the best players in baseball. 25 years old, would be a phenomenal addition, and this gets me very excited. Again, I know Peter is on the pessimistic side, but I am on the side of, hey, I'm all in for another Shohei Ohtani, plane run. I loved every minute of it up until he signed with the Dodgers, but I think the Jays have a legitimate shot here, and I do think that they are going to be going all in. Whether they offer him $700 million is still up in the air. I think $600 might be a bit more realistic, but if they can get Juan Soto, that would entice guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who I think is always going to stay, Bichette to stay, and not only that, but that would bring in other free agents. If you look at the Blue Jays, you have one of the best hitters in the world in Juan Soto. You have one of the best hitters in the world in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You have a young core-ish, kind of young, not as young now as they once were a few years ago. You get some other guys that come in, whether that's playing Bregman at third base, whether that's Willy Adames, who might be a bit more interested now in joining and playing second base or third base, sorry. There's so many different things that can happen with this signing, and it got me very excited. And speaking of the Shohei Ohtani situation, the odds were released for Juan Soto, similar to they were with Ohtani, and they're very intriguing. So you see this here from DraftKings Sportsbook. So the Jays have the fourth best odds at landing Juan Soto according to these odds. You have the Yankees as favorites, you have the Mets, the Dodgers, and then the Blue Jays at plus 1,500. Now again, I believe last season we made a similar video surrounding Shohei. I think the Jays were about plus 2,500. Maybe plus 3,000, plus 3,500. So they're starting lower. They're the fourth best team. And I suspect these odds to continue to climb over the next handful of weeks. I suspect it'll be between the Yankees, the Mets, and I think the Jays will leapfrog the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers have other priorities. I think they want to re-sign Teoscar Hernandez. I think they have some other guys that they prefer to go after rather than Juan Soto. They just won a World Series without him. Yes, he would help. Yes, he would help a ton. But I think they might want to continue to play their, round out their team in certain ways. So it's very interesting what's actually going to happen with this, these odds and with this team. It's intriguing, though, because as you look at it, again, plus 1,500, not the best odds in the world, but they're not completely terrible. And as you continue to go through and you look, it's exciting. You can't help but be a little bit excited if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. Now, again, take everything with a grain of salt. We're still very early in the offseason, but he's a fairly reputable reporter. And the Jays are going absolutely all in on Juan Soto. And again, I suspect these odds to kind of fall a little bit, in fall meaning a good way, because obviously the lower the odds, or the higher the odds, the lower the number. So the Yankees being at minus 225 is a bit intriguing to me because, again, he said he obviously played last season for them. He's familiar there. Said he enjoyed the Yankee thing, but we saw some interesting hints hinting at maybe he wasn't so happy there at the end of the offseason and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what ultimately happens. But either way, the Jays are poised for the biggest offseason in a very long time, probably in the past decade. Like Ross Atkins, he's heading into his, really is probably his final chance and heading towards his final years. Might be his last year if he doesn't make the playoffs and they don't make the playoffs. Mark Shapiro, obviously, just did the renovations. They need to make things happen, and they need to make things happen very, very soon. And if they don't, then the Jays are going to be in for a very rough time. And Soto, it's not the be-all, end-all. If they don't get Soto, it's not the end of the world. They have some other pivots. But boy, oh boy, would Juan Soto be the number one option. So let me know down below what your thoughts are in the comment section. It's going to be very interesting, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. See you later.